Hey everyone, and welcome to Gambling Flow, your daily dose of all things gambling. I'm Russell Kane.
And I'm Fiona Blake.
Glad to have you with us today as we take a deep dive into the exciting world of online slots. If you're out there and thinking about maybe trying your luck at winning some real money, well, you've come to the right place. We've put together our own ranking of the best online casinos out there based on game selection, security, bonuses, you name it. And Fiona.
Yes.
I'm a sucker for a good top 10 list, so let's get right to it. Who takes the top spot in our ranking of the best online slot sites?
The crown this time goes to Wild Casino.
Wild Casino, huh? Sounds promising already. What makes them stand out?
Well, they're a real standout, especially for our listeners in the US and Canada. They have a huge selection of over 600 slots. And get this, they're all in on crypto.
Crypto and casinos. That's an interesting combo. Is that a growing trend, Fiona?
Definitely. For a lot of players, it's the anonymity and faster transactions that crypto offers. Plus, it's got that, tech-savvy, cool factor to it.
Right, for sure. So Wild Casino is crypto-friendly, huge selection of games. Anything else?
They've got a great reputation in the industry. They're fully licensed and regulated, and they offer top-notch customer support.
That's important. Don't want to be dealing with a technical glitch when you're on a hot streak. Right. Okay, so Wild Casino is top dog. Who's coming in at number 2?
Coming in hot at number 2 is Los Atlantis, a haven for fans of real-time gaming slots. Those vibrant, almost cartoonish games.
Oh yeah, RTG. I've seen those around. Hard to miss with their colorful themes and fun animations. So Los Atlantis is the go-to spot for RTG fans.
Absolutely. They've got over 250 of them. Plus, they offer a very enticing welcome bonus.
Gotta love those bonuses. What kind of bonus are we talking about here?
We're talking a match bonus that can really boost your initial deposit. It's a great way to get started and explore their massive selection of RTG slots.
All right, Los Atlantis. Strong contender for sure. But what about those of us who like to test the waters before jumping in head first? Any options for the more cautious gambler out there?
Absolutely. In third place, we have Bovada. They've got a feature I think you'll appreciate. They let you try out games for free before committing any real money.
Now, that's what I'm talking about, like a test drive before you buy the car.
Well,
You can get a feel for the games, see what themes you like, even practice a bit.
exactly. It's a great way to explore their huge library of slots and find the ones that you really enjoy.
Smart move, Bovada.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, what about any newcomers? Any fresh faces making waves in the online casino world?
Definitely. Clocking in at number 4 is Lucky Block, the newest kid on the block. They launched just last year. They've already made a splash with a whopping 200% welcome bonus and 50 free spins.
Hold on, 200%. Now that's a welcome bonus I can get behind. But there's got to be a catch, right? There's always a catch.
Well, the one thing to note is that Lucky Block is crypto only.
Ah, so that's the trade-off. High rewards, crypto required, makes sense. I know some listeners are all in on those digital coins. Okay, let's wrap up our top 5. Who claims the final spot?
Rounding out our top 5 is a real veteran of the online casino world, BetOnline. They've been around for over 25 years, which says a lot about their reliability and fairness.
25 years. They must be doing something right to last that long. What else makes them a good choice for slot enthusiasts?
Well, they're known for their impressive slots tournaments, which adds a whole other level of excitement and competition to your gameplay.
Tournaments, huh? Now that's interesting. Tell me more. How do those work?
It's basically a competition where players go head-to-head on selected slots. You pay an entry fee, you receive a set number of credits, and you try to rack up as many winnings as you can within a certain time frame. The players with the highest scores at the end win prizes, which could be cash, free spins, even luxury vacations.
Wow, so there's a strategy element to it as well. It's not just about hitting that spin button. Sounds like a great option for those who love a challenge.
Right.
Okay, so we've explored the top 5 online casinos, but now let's talk games. Fiona, what slot game reigns supreme in your book?
It has to be Starburst. It's a classic for a reason. It's often called the Beyoncé of slots.
The Beyoncé of slots. Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes it so iconic?
For one thing, it has an RTP of 96.09%, meaning for every $100 wagered, players can expect to win back an average of $96.09 over time.
So a higher RTP means better chances of winning in the long run.
Exactly. And that's just one reason why Starburst is so popular.
Okay, high RTP, check. What else makes this game a winner?
Visually, it's stunning with vibrant colors, and it has a classic, easy-to-understand gameplay. Plus, it has that cool feature where the wild symbol expands to cover an entire reel and triggers a respin, giving you extra chances to win.
Respins, expanding wild, high RTP. No wonder this game is a fan favorite. All right, Starburst is a tough act to follow. But what other slots deserve a spot on our must-play list?
Next up is Book of Dead, an Egyptian-themed slot that's become a global sensation known for its potential for massive payouts.
Egyptian themes are always a hit. And who doesn't love the possibility of winning big? But what sets Book of Dead apart from the countless other Egyptian-themed slots?
This one has the potential for huge payouts, up to 5,000 times your bet.
Whoa! 5,000 times. Now you're talking my language. But high rewards often come with high risks, right?
Right. Book of Dead is what we call a high volatility slot. This means while the potential rewards are huge, the wins might not come as often. It's a gamble for sure, but the thrill of the chase is definitely there.
High risk, high reward. It's like the stock market of slots. All right, what other thrilling adventures await us in the world of online slots?
Let's move on to Greedy Goblins, a visually impressive slot with cool 3D graphics and a progressive jackpot.
Progressive jackpot, huh? That's where the pie keeps growing until someone hits it big, right?
Exactly. And with Greedy Goblins, the jackpot can get really big because it's linked across multiple casinos.
So we're talking life-changing money here. What else makes this game stand out?
The theme is quite fun, centered around these mischievous goblins who are always trying to get their hands on treasure. It also has some really engaging bonus features, including sticky wilds and free spins, which can lead to some pretty nice wins.
Sticky wilds, free spins, progressive jackpots. They really pack this game with features. Okay, Fiona, we've got Starburst, Book of Dead, Greedy Goblins. What other gems are hidden in your treasure chest of top slot games?
Our fourth pick is another classic, Gonzo's Quest. This Nintendo slot features stunning 3D animations and a unique avalanche feature.
Avalanche feature. Oh, that sounds intriguing. What is that?
With the avalanche feature, winning symbols disappear and are replaced by new ones, giving you multiple chances to win on a single spin.
So you can win again and again on the same spin. That's pretty cool.
Right. It's a crowd pleaser for sure, and a great example of how innovative slot games can be.
Innovation is key in this industry. Got to keep things fresh and exciting to stand out from the crowd. All right, Fiona, we're down to our final slot game in the top 5. Drum roll, please.
Our fifth pick is Enchanted Garden 2, a beautifully designed slot from real-time gaming. Think fairies, fireflies, and magical creatures, all set in a mystical garden.
Sounds enchanting. What makes this game a winner?
It has an above-average RTP, and, to add to the excitement, a progressive jackpot that can reach some pretty impressive amounts.
Another progressive jackpot. It seems like those are all the rage these days.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 top-tier online casinos and 5 fantastic slot games to explore. But before we go any further, let's talk about those who might be a little hesitant to jump into real money play right away. Fiona, what about free slots? Are those worth checking out?
Absolutely. There are definitely pros and cons to both free and real money slots.
Okay, let's unpack that. What are the advantages of playing free slots?
Well, first and foremost, they're risk-free. You can spin to your heart's content without spending a dime. It's a great way to familiarize yourself with different slots, practice different betting strategies, and just have fun without the pressure of winning or losing.
I can see the appeal in that. It's like a test run before you commit. But what's the downside? Why wouldn't everyone just play free slots all the time?
Well, the obvious downside is that you can't win any real money playing free slots.
Ah, there it is. The age-old dilemma, fun and practice versus the thrill of a real win. So when would you recommend trying out free slots?
Free slots are great for beginners who are just getting started with slots. It allows them to learn the ropes without any financial risk. They're also great for experienced players who want to try out a new game before wagering real money.
Makes sense. Try before you buy, or in this case, try before you bet. So Fiona, let's flip the coin. What are the advantages of diving into real money slots?
Well, the most obvious one is the potential to win real money. That adrenaline rush of seeing those symbols align and knowing you've won a chunk of change is hard to beat.
That's the magic of slots, isn't it? It's a thrill that's been captivating players for over a century.
Exactly. And on top of that, real money slots often come with bonuses and promotions that you just won't find with free slots. Think of it as a reward for your loyalty and a way for casinos to attract new players.
Bonuses and promotions, always a good thing. So Fiona, if someone is ready to take the plunge and start playing real money slots, where do they even begin?
The first step is choosing one of our recommended online casinos. Once you've found a platform that suits your needs and preferences, you'll need to sign up for an account.
Okay, let's say I'm feeling adventurous and decide to go with Lucky Block, our crypto-friendly newcomer, with that tempting 200% bonus. What's the sign-up process like?
It's pretty straightforward. You go to the Lucky Block website and click on the sign up button. You'll be asked to provide some basic information like your name, email address, and date of birth.
Pretty standard stuff. What's next?
Once you've filled out the registration form, you'll need to verify your email address. Lucky Block will send you a confirmation email with a link to click on. It's just a security measure to make sure you've provided a valid email address.
Security first. I like it. So my email is verified. What's the next step in this crypto casino adventure?
Now it's time to make your first deposit. Remember, Lucky Block is crypto only, so you'll need to have some Bitcoin or another supported cryptocurrency ready to go.
Okay, so I head to the cashier section, choose my preferred cryptocurrency, and make the transfer. How long does it usually take for those funds to show up in my account?
Crypto transactions are usually really fast. You should see your funds in your Lucky Block account within minutes.
That's the beauty of crypto. Speedy transactions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my account set up, I've made my deposit, I'm ready to roll. How do I actually start playing slots?
Lucky Block has a really user-friendly interface, makes it easy to navigate. You can browse their huge library of slots by theme, provider, or popularity. Once you find a game that you like, simply click on it to launch it.
And then it's just a matter of setting my bet and hitting that spin button.
Exactly.
And don't forget, Lucky Block offers that generous 200% welcome bonus.
That's right.
Can't argue with that. 200% bonus. Sign me up. Okay, Fiona, before we move on, let's address the elephant in the room, legality.
Ah, yes. A very important topic, especially for our listeners in the United States, where the legal landscape for online gambling can be a bit complex.
Exactly. What's the general situation for playing online slots for real money in the U.S.?
It's a bit of a gray area, to be honest. Federal law doesn't explicitly prohibit online gambling, but it does restrict interstate gambling transactions. However, many states have their own laws regarding online gambling, and those laws can vary quite a bit.
So it's a state-by-state issue, which can make things a bit tricky. What's a general rule of thumb for our U.S. listeners?
The best advice is to check the specific laws in your state. Some states have legalized online gambling, while others explicitly prohibit it. And then there are states where the laws are, well, ambiguous.
Ambiguous laws. Sounds like a lawyer's dream. So Fiona, what about offshore casinos? Those are sites that are based outside of the U.S., like Wild Casino. Are those legal for U.S. players?
Again, it really depends on the specific state laws. In most cases, it's not illegal for U.S. players to join offshore casinos, but there are exceptions.
So the bottom line is, do your research, know your state laws, and proceed with caution.
Absolutely. And it's always a good idea to play at reputable, licensed casinos like the ones we've talked about today. These platforms are committed to operating legally and ethically, which gives you more confidence about the safety and security of your funds.
Safety and security are paramount. We don't want anyone getting scammed or losing their hard-earned money. Okay, Fiona, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've talked about the top online casinos, the best slot games, the pros and cons of free versus real money slots, and even touched on the legal aspects of online gambling.
It's been quite a journey so far.
Indeed it has. But we're just getting started. When we return for part 2 of this deep dive, we're going behind the scenes to see how online slots actually work. Talking RNGs, RTPs, and all that techie stuff that makes those reels spin.
It's going to get really interesting.
We'll be demystifying the process and helping our listeners understand what goes on behind those spinning reels and flashing lights. We'll be back soon with part 2. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Gambling Flow, everyone.
Time to get a little technical.
That's right. We're going behind the scenes of online slots to understand what makes these games tick. I've always been kind of fascinated by the concept of, a machine being random. Seems like a bit of a contradiction. So how do these online slots actually work?
Well, at the heart of every online slot is something called a random number generator, or RNG for short.
RNG, huh? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Break it down for me, Fiona. What exactly is an RNG, and what role does it play in online slots?
An RNG is basically a sophisticated computer program that generates random numbers, and those numbers determine the outcome of every spin you make.
So every time I hit that spin button, it's the RNG deciding my fate.
Exactly. The RNG is constantly churning out random numbers, even when the game isn't being played. When you press spin, it captures a set of those numbers and uses them to determine where the reels will land.
So it's all down to pure chance then. No lucky charms or secret strategies can influence the outcome.
Not at all. That's the beauty of RNGs. They're designed to be totally unbiased and unpredictable. making sure every spin is a true game of chance.
That's good to know. I mean, it means that the games are fair, which is, crucial for any gambler. But how can we be sure these RNGs are truly random? Couldn't a casino, I don't know, manipulate them to their advantage? I'm a little bit of a skeptic.
I get your skepticism, but the good news is that reputable online casinos have their RNGs regularly audited by independent third-party testing agencies.
So there's a system of checks and balances in place to keep things honest.
Right.
That definitely puts my mind at ease.
These agencies, they specialize in ensuring the fairness and randomness of casino games. They examine the RNGs to make sure they meet industry standards for unpredictability.
Reassuring. Very reassuring. Okay, Fiona, we've talked about RNGs, but what about RTP? I remember you mentioning it earlier, but I'd love a more in-depth explanation.
Sure, RTP, or return to player, is a theoretical percentage that tells you how much of the money wagered on a slot is paid back to players over time. It's essentially a long-term average.
So if a slot has an RTP of, let's say, 96%, does that mean I'm guaranteed to win back $96 for every $100 you wager?
Not necessarily. It's important to remember that RTP is calculated over thousands and thousands of spins. In the short term, anything can happen. You could win big, you could lose big, you could break even. It's that long-term average that matters.
So RTP is more of a theoretical guide, but in reality, luck still plays a role.
Exactly. It's kind of like flipping a coin. Theoretically, you have a 50-50 chance of heads or tails, but in a short series of flips, you might get all heads or all tails.
Makes sense. Okay, so if RTP is a long-term average, how can we use that information to our advantage?
Well, when choosing a slot game, it's usually a good idea to look for games with higher RTPs. Higher RTP means that over time, you're statistically more likely to win back a larger portion of your wagers. But again, remember, luck is still a factor.
Got it. Higher RTP, better odds, but no guarantees. That's the thrill of gambling, right? Speaking of thrills, Fiona, what about those exciting bonus features? The ones that make slots so much fun?
Ah, yes, bonus features. They're the spice of the slot world, designed to, shake things up and give you more ways to win.
Okay, give me the lowdown. What kind of bonus features can we expect to find in the world of online slots?
Well, one of the most common and popular is free spins. These are usually triggered when you land a specific combination of symbols on the reels. They give you a certain number of spins without having to place a bet.
So free spins are literally free chances to win. I like the sound of that. What other tricks do slots have up their sleeve?
Another popular feature is wilds. These are symbols that can substitute for other symbols to help create winning combinations. Think of them like the jokers in a deck of cards. They add that element of surprise and boost your chances of hitting a winning line.
Wilds, free spins. What other bonus features should we be on the lookout for?
There are also multipliers, which can multiply your winnings by a certain amount. Like if you hit a win with a 2x multiplier, your winnings are doubled. And then there are things like cascading reels, expanding wilds, bonus games, the list goes on.
It sounds like the game developers are getting pretty creative with these bonus features.
Oh, they are. It's all about keeping the games fresh and exciting, full of surprises, and these features definitely add a level of excitement and anticipation to the gameplay.
I can see that it's not just about spinning the reels anymore. It's about those moments of anticipation, the thrill of triggering a bonus feature. It adds a whole other dimension to the game. Now, Fiona, I mentioned before I can be a bit of a skeptic. So do you ever feel like you're just, hitting that spin button, hoping for the best? Or are there things you can actually do to improve your chances of winning at slots?
It's a great question. And honestly, sometimes it does feel like you're at the mercy of the RNG gods. But there are definitely some things you can do to tilt the odds in your favor.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the secrets, Fiona. What are your top tips for playing smart and maximizing those wins?
Well, first and foremost, set a budget and stick to it. It's easy to get carried away when you're playing slots, so it's important to know your limits and walk away when you reach them.
Budgeting, that's key in any form of gambling, right? Don't chase those losses. What else, Fiona?
Another important tip is to choose your slots wisely. Remember, different slots have different RTPs and volatilities.
Volatility. Now, there's a term I haven't heard before. What exactly does that mean? And how does it affect our gameplay?
Volatility refers to the level of risk associated with a particular slot game. High volatility slots offer the potential for huge wins, but those wins come less frequently. Low volatility slots, on the other hand, offer smaller but more frequent wins.
So it's about choosing a volatility that aligns with your risk tolerance and your playing style.
Exactly. If you're a high roller looking for those life-changing wins, then high volatility slots might be your thing. But if you prefer more consistent, smaller wins and longer playtime, then go with low volatility slots.
So know yourself as a gambler and choose games that match your style. Great advice, Fiona. Great advice. What other pearls of wisdom do you have for our listeners?
Don't underestimate the power of bonuses and promotions. Many online casinos offer welcome bonuses, free spins, and other incentives to attract new players and reward existing ones. These bonuses can give your bankroll a boost and increase your chances of winning.
Bonuses are always welcome, especially in the world of gambling, right? Okay, Fiona, I think we've demystified the inner workings of online slots pretty effectively. We've talked about RNGs, RTPs, volatility, and even discussed some strategies for playing smart.
We have.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to circle back to the legal landscape of online gambling in the U.S. It can be a confusing topic, especially for those new to the world of online casinos.
It's definitely a crucial topic,
Oh, yeah.
especially with the laws varying from state to state.
Right. So for our U.S. listeners, if online gambling is legal in their state, are they good to go?
It's not quite that simple. Even if online gambling is legal in your state, you need to make sure you're playing at a reputable licensed casino.
Okay, so licensed casinos are the way to go. But how do we know if a casino is licensed? Do they usually, display that information somewhere?
Yes, reputable online casinos will typically display their license information at the bottom of their website. You should look for logos from regulatory bodies, like the Malta Gaming Authority, the UK Gambling Commission, or the Curaçao e-gaming authority.
Okay, so those logos are a good indication of a casino's legitimacy. But what about offshore casinos, Fiona? We know a lot of U.S. players join those platforms, but they're not actually based in the U.S., right? So how are they regulated?
Offshore casinos are usually licensed and regulated by the jurisdiction where they're based. For example, Wild Casino, which we talked about earlier, is licensed in Panama.
So even though they're not in the U.S., they still have to adhere to certain standards and regulations.
Exactly. And reputable offshore casinos will take additional steps to ensure the safety and security of their U.S. players. Things like using encryption technology to protect personal and financial information.
Encryption, security, licensing, all good things to look for in an online casino. Okay, Fiona. I think we've given our listeners a lot to digest in this part of our deep dive. We've learned about the mechanisms behind online slots, discussed some strategies for maximizing our chances of winning, and even touched on the important topic of legality.
It's been an enlightening journey so far.
Indeed it has. And believe it or not, there's still more to come. When we return for the final part of our deep dive, we'll be looking at the diverse world of online slots, comparing them to their offline counterparts, and answering some frequently asked questions about this exciting and ever-evolving world of gambling. We'll be back soon with the grand finale of our online slots exploration. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Gambling Flow, folks.
We're ready to wrap up our deep dive into the world of online slots.
We've covered a lot, haven't we?
Yes.
From the best online casinos to the inner workings of how these games actually operate.
We even shared some tips on how to play smart and, boost your chances of winning.
Right. But before we say goodbye, there's one more fascinating area I think we need to explore.
The vast and diverse world of online slots.
Exactly. I mean, the sheer variety out there is incredible. There's a slot for literally every kind of player, from the fans of classic slots to those seeking the thrill of those huge progressive jackpots. So, Fiona, for our listeners out there, what are the main categories of online slots they should be aware of?
Well, I think we should start with the foundation of it all. The games that pave the way for the modern marvels we see today, classic slots.
Yes, classic slots. Those evoke a sense of nostalgia, don't they? Taking us back to the simpler days of those three-reelers with those iconic symbols, the fruit symbols, the bars, the lucky sevens.
Right. Classic slots are all about simplicity and straightforward gameplay, perfect for players who appreciate that more traditional gambling experience.
Yeah, and don't underestimate them. Some classic slots can still pack a punch when it comes to payouts.
Oh, absolutely. Many classic slots offer surprisingly generous jackpots, proving that, sometimes less is more.
Right, so classic slots, for those looking for a taste of old school Vegas, that's a great option. But what about those who are looking for something, a little more modern, a bit more visually stimulating?
Well, that's where video slots come in.
Video slots.
Yeah, they're like the evolution of classic slots, embracing technology to create these immersive gaming experiences.
Right, we're talking 5 reels, multiple pay lines, a dazzling array of themes, bonus features, the whole nine yards.
Exactly. Video slots can transport you to different worlds, from ancient civilizations to futuristic landscapes, and all while offering, tons of possibilities for big wins.
Yeah, they're the most popular type of online slot for a reason. I mean, they're engaging, entertaining, and full of potential.
And with bonus features like, free spins, wild multipliers, cascading reels, video slots really take the excitement up a notch.
They really do. I mean, they're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in online gambling. So we've got classic slots for the traditionalist, video slots for those seeking a more modern, immersive experience. But there's one more category that deserves some attention.
You're talking about jackpot slots, right?
Exactly, jackpot slots, the giants of the slot world, the games that fuel those dreams of those instant riches.
Right. The allure of those massive, ever-growing jackpots.
It's undeniable. Fiona, break it down for us. What exactly are jackpot slots, and how do they work?
Jackpot slots are essentially slots with a progressive jackpot, meaning a portion of every bet placed on that game is added to the jackpot pool.
And that jackpot keeps growing and growing.
Until one lucky player hits the winning combination and walks away with a life-changing amount of money.
It's the dream, right? To spin those reels and become an instant millionaire. Now, Fiona, I've heard there are different types of jackpot slots. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, you're right. There are two main types, standalone jackpots and network jackpots.
Standalone and network?
Right. Standalone jackpots are specific to a single machine or game, while network jackpots are linked across multiple casinos, meaning the jackpot climbs much faster.
Ah, so those network jackpots, those are the ones that often make headlines with those eye-popping
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar wins.
Exactly. They're the ultimate prize in online slots, the ones that really capture the imagination.
Okay, Fiona, so we've talked about the main categories of online slots, but I'm curious, how do online slots compare to their brick-and-mortar counterparts? Are there any significant differences besides the obvious, convenience factor?
That's a great question. And yes, there are some key differences.
Okay.
You mentioned convenience. And online slots definitely win in that department. You can play anytime, anywhere, from your couch, on your phone, whatever's comfortable.
No need to dress up and travel to a casino,
Right. No need to travel.
which can be, time-consuming and expensive.
And online casinos are open 2004/7, so you can play whenever you feel like it.
Right, whenever the mood strikes. What else, Fiona?
Another big difference is variety. Online casinos just offer a much wider selection of slots than land-based casinos.
Yeah, for sure.
We're talking hundreds, even thousands of different games with every theme you can imagine and a huge range of betting options to suit all budgets.
Well, so if you're the type of player who enjoys, exploring different games and themes, then online slots are the way to go.
Definitely.
And let's not forget about the bonuses and promotions, which are much more generous at online casinos.
Right. Online casinos are always trying to, get your attention. They offer welcome bonuses, free spins, loyalty rewards, all sorts of incentives to, give you more bang for your buck.
Right. I mean, everyone loves a good bonus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Fiona, it seems like online slots have a lot going for them. But are there any advantages to playing slots in a real brick-and-mortar casino? Is there anything those physical casinos offer that you just can't get online?
Well, for some players, it's the atmosphere. There's a certain energy to a land-based casino with all the sights and sounds.
The social interaction.
Right, exactly. And for some people, that's a big part of the experience. There's that feeling of camaraderie, the shared excitement, that you don't always get online.
I see what you mean. There's something about being surrounded by other players, feeling that buzz on the casino floor, hearing the clinking of coins.
Right. It's a whole sensory experience.
Yeah, it can definitely enhance that thrill of gambling.
But ultimately, I think the choice between online slots and offline slots comes down to personal preference. They both have their own pros and cons, and it's up to the individual player to decide what experience works best for them.
Well said, Fiona. Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of online slots.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has. We've explored the best online casinos out there. We've demystified the inner workings of these games and even picked up some strategies to increase our chances of winning.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, from the history of slots to the latest trends and innovations, and we've done it all with the goal of helping our listeners, make informed decisions and get the most out of their online gambling
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely.
So if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of online slots, be sure to subscribe to Gambling Flow for more insights and discussions on all things gambling. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode with your friends. We love hearing from our listeners, and we appreciate your support. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling adventure, everyone.
Happy spinning.
Until next time.